Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news. A lot to go through. We'll be talking about Kalidou Koulibaly, pockets for Mino and Vardy. I can't remember the rest of the words, but we are talking about Koulibaly. We need a centre-back. I'll tell you the story about that in a minute as well. Also, Konate's release clause is very interesting. Marcus Rashford's been talking about the progress. A few other bits to go through as well. But I just want to start off. I've got to be honest, right? Sorry it's a little bit late tonight, but we had a meal planned. I wasn't going to be doing a show tonight, and then it was like things fell through that were meant to happen. So I did a show because we thought we were going to have a pretty good show for you tonight. You'll still get a good show because you've got me, but we had something else planned. It fell through, so I'm live a little bit later than normal. Boring. Anyway, the one thing I wanted to talk to you about was I've just watched Liverpool lose to Everton. And then I see Liverpool lose to Everton, and I see social media awash with ex-players, fans, ripping the piss out of Liverpool. And it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me because it's almost like, what are we celebrating about Liverpool losing now? Yes, they're our biggest rival, and it is funny. But what are we rubbing in their face? Because we are not going to win this league. We are in a battle for top four. You know what it feels like? It feels like the standards at this football club have dropped so heavily that we now relish laughing at Liverpool losing because they're so good and they're not going to win things that we used to win that can't win. I'll put it another way. It's almost like being that guy or girl who goes to work on a bike and the person you don't like goes to work in a Ferrari. And whilst you're riding along in your bike, they wrap their Ferrari around a tree and you laugh at them on your bike as you go to work and they've wrecked their Ferrari. But the reality is, they'll go and get a new Ferrari and you'll still be riding a bike. We can't live and laugh and celebrate Saturday nights because Liverpool have lost. We can, but not to the extent I think some people do. It almost feels like we've become Arsenal in a way, that we over-celebrate Liverpool losing, and yet we're not in a great situation ourselves. We're in a race for top four. It's difficult. Look, it is funny that Liverpool lost, but I think some people, it's made their year that Liverpool have lost again. And I'm like, we used to win titles. We used to laugh at Liverpool because we were the best. We're now left laughing at Liverpool because they've lost another game. But what are we doing? And I hope Solskjaer's sat feeling exactly the same as me. It is funny that Liverpool have lost, but you know what? We've got a huge job of our own to do. And let's start doing our own job. And you know, I think some people just, it's look at Liverpool. Let me hold my wine and laugh about it. We're Manchester United. Come on, let's get into our own gear. Let's be the best at what we are and then laugh at rivals. Mark, you laugh when Arsenal lose. Yeah, but Zane, everyone laughs when Arsenal lose. Love you, Mark, and I'm drunk, says Jay Perryman. Well, I've had a glass of red. I've had a glass of red as well. But let's get into the show. So Koulibaly transfer race. Interesting story, this. I'll give you the story and then we'll talk about it. That's the way it goes. So Italian sources, Calcio Mercato Web, I think it is, said, watch out for United in relation to Koulibaly. United and City are after him. City wanted him last year but weren't getting much change out of Napoli. But with 2 years left on his contract and COVID, Napoli could be ready to cash in for as little as £60 million. Teats, inhales a deep breath, Goldbridge does there. And why am I talking in the third person? So it's a difficult one. Liverpool are our rival for top four, Malcolm, but I'm not celebrating it like some people are celebrating it. I think the standards are dropping at this football club in relation to how much we're celebrating Liverpool lose. I fully understand Liverpool rivalry, and it is funny when they lose, but we've got a match tomorrow. What if we lose? I just feel like I'm very aware that we're slipping into this football club that doesn't win trophies and now celebrates when our rivals lose. We used to win trophies and celebrate when our rivals lose. It just feels a little bit wrong to me to be celebrating madly Liverpool losing when we're not where we need to be yet. I think we need to focus on our own house a little bit more. Hey Mark, love the content and love the United stands. You're making lockdown so much better. Thank you, says Ethan Perrin. Thank you. Nice to see some positivity out there tonight. But on Koulibaly, so look, it's Italian sources. He plays in Italy. There might be Napoli might be ready to sell him. All I would say about Koulibaly is he's going to be 30 in June. Is that too old? Is that too old to bring Kalidou Koulibaly to Manchester United at 30 years of age? Now consider some people wanted Ramos at 35. Is it too old to bring Kalidou Koulibaly? Is it, some people are saying playing Ramos with Maguire and he's 35 next year. Is Koulibaly too old at 30 to come to United? Well, the short answer is no. So why are we not considering bringing Koulibaly to United? Or is this story true? I don't think the story's true. I don't think Manchester United are in a race to bring Kalidou Koulibaly to Manchester United. Personally, should we be in a race to bring Kalidou Koulibaly to Manchester United? Well, the fact that I'm thinking it through probably is no. But having said that, if it's Koulibaly or Mings, it's Koulibaly. If it's Koulibaly or Ramos, it should be probably Koulibaly. If it's Koulibaly or Varane, it should be Varane. If it's Koulibaly or Koundé, it should be Koundé. If it's Koulibaly or Konate, well, there's a problem. Konate is 8 years younger, but he's injury prone. Koulibaly is a top-class centre-back. At 30 years of age, he could probably give us 3 or 4 years. The price is the issue with Koulibaly, isn't it? It's the price. It's the price with Koulibaly. What would Napoli take for Koulibaly with 2 years left on his contract? If they take 40 million, I'd do the deal. If they take 50 million, they want 60 million, I think you're taking the piss a little bit. But it's interesting with Koulibaly. Why is he not being mentioned? He's 29, he's not 33. He does have all the attributes. He is still very quick compared to our centre-backs. He's very good in the air. He's good on the ball. He does tick. 2 years ago, I'm all over this. I'm all over this like my pizza I was 5 minutes ago. But I don't know. I just don't. Maybe it's not as glamorous as maybe it's the age. I don't know. What I'm saying is, if we got Koulibaly, I don't think I would be disappointed. But it's got Koundé. They've got the first 3 letters right. K-O-U. Koulibaly is Koundé. That's the one we've got to go for. But yeah, it's interesting. Koulibaly is old, says Carson Badley. So why even consider bringing him in when this football club is focused on progression? Well, is he old though? He'd literally be 30 at the start of the season. 31 at the start of next season. 32 at the start of the next season. That's 3 seasons and he's 32. So I don't know. I don't know. It is an interesting one. I don't know. I do not know. I tell you what, if he's realistic and he's possible and he's around 50 million, I'm chucking him in. I'm chucking him in the category of a decent potential signing. I certainly wouldn't be disappointed with it. I'd be disappointed with Mings. I tell you what, I'll take Koulibaly over Mings, Konate, Torres. Definitely. I wouldn't take him over Koundé and I wouldn't take him over Varane. And I don't think we're going to get Varane and I worry about Koundé. But it's an interesting one. It definitely is. And look, there's no doubt that Pep wanted him a year ago. So I won't take him for more than 30. He's untested in the Premier League. He has the attributes, strong, tall, pacey to succeed, but he'll only decline from here. Well, people say he'll only decline from here, Jibak. But we're talking about Ramos at 35. Has he really declined massively? Thiago Silva at 36. Cavani's 34 and yet outclasses Martial every day of the week. Koulibaly at 30 is still levels above Lindelof and Maguire, says Bubblegum. And exactly. And I think that's what I'm saying. We need leaders. We need personality. Koulibaly's 30. Everyone's on about Ramos because of his leadership. Koulibaly's 5 years younger. Is that not a viable player to bring? I think it's viable. I don't think it'll happen, but I do think it deserves more attention than people are probably giving it. Anyway, I'll leave you on that one. The other story I wanted to bring you, and this could be a month old, but I've missed it. But I read it this morning. Bild are saying that Konate could leave Leipzig this summer and has a release clause of 40 million. Now, I never knew Konate had a release clause. 40 million pounds for Konate from Leipzig, early 20s, very good centre-back. That's a very good price. And I saw a few ears pricking up this morning thinking, oh yeah, let's have a bit of that pie. Not for me. Not for me. No, not for me. Not on this one. I can't be a hypocrite. I can change my mind, but I can't be a hypocrite on things that I firmly believe in. And my issue with Konate is, and I would warn Man United about this massively, is his injury record. If you buy Konate and he misses the first 6 months through injuries, or the second year he misses the 6 months, you'll always be hit with the spade that... I don't know why I'm hitting them with a spade, but his injury record's appalling. In the last 2 years, he's missed over 300 days with muscle injuries. We can't do Eric Bailly again. We can't do that. We can't. Some people might say you can't do Phil Jones again. You can't buy another centre back that's got injury issues. And I don't know how many times I've said it, but I would rather have a player, I'd rather have a centre-back that plays 7 out of 10 for 90% of your games a season than a centre-back that plays 9 out of 10 for 40%. You need a player to play every week. And Konate, for me, the red flag is there. United need specialists in recruitment. The Moneyball syndrome, whatever you call it, where you analyse every player that you bring in so that you can almost, unless you get lucky, predict what they're going to do for your team over the next 3 years. Over a 3-year contract, you should be able to buy a player these days and predict what they're going to do for you over a 3-year contract. Now, not predict that they're going to score a goal against Everton in the 30th minute from outside the box. I'm not talking that ridiculous accuracy. But down to the level that over 3 years, they should play 80% of our games. Those sort of things you should be able to predict from their career. That's what stats are really good for. And I'm sorry, if you buy Konate and then in 6 months' time you think, we're so unlucky on injuries. Well, you're not. Look at his last 2 years. So I think Konate's a good player, but his injury record is a real issue. If Cavani can do it at 34, Koulubaly can do it at 30, says the gamer. Well, I'm glad that Koulibaly's got people thinking. I really am. Indy Renton's Nikola Milenkovic, we are talking about centre-backs at the start of this show. In the same article, talking about Koulubaly, they say that Manchester United are looking at Milenkovic as well. I don't think we are looking at Nikola Milenkovic from Fiorentina, to be honest with you. I don't think we are. I think this is a legacy from Mourinho days. But he is a good player. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He is another option. So, yeah, definitely wouldn't rule him out. I also saw something today about Koundé and Sevilla are open to letting him go. So much so that they're looking at Senesi from Feyenoord, who's a centre-back, as a Koundé replacement, and that United, PSG and Madrid are after Koundé. Well, that fills me with a bit of confidence, because if they're looking at a replacement, that means he's available. Doesn't mean we're getting him, not saying that. But if they're looking at a replacement, it means he's available. And therefore, the race is on. Now, the next problem is, can United get in the race? Can United win the race? Well, if Madrid are in the race, forget Madrid. They're gonna keep Ramos and Varane and get Alaba. So they can't afford another centre-back. And they also want to bring in people like Mbappe. So forget Madrid. PSG are a concern. And Koundé is French. But I would worry. You just don't know, do you? But Koundé going to PSG... Do you really want to be putting your pipe and slippers on at 22 years of age, or do you actually want a career? So there's an opportunity. Koundé's, if I'm absolutely honest, there's no point beating about the Kate Bush on this one. The reality is, I want Koundé, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well. But I'm not even sketchy on this. I want Koundé. Numero 1, centre-back choice. I've realised this over the last couple of weeks. The centre-back I want United to get is Koundé. That's my number 1 choice. That's the one I want to get. It's dangerous when you do that because you can get disappointed. It happened to me with Bruno the summer before last. It happened with Sancho last summer. I've not got a very good record with United getting my number 1 priority. Even, I remember the summer I wanted Griezmann and we didn't get him. So I don't think we've ever got my number 1 priority. So I've probably just jinxed the whole Koundé deal. But that is the centre-back I want United to get. I believe he is the right centre-back for Manchester United. I like so much about how he plays the game, and I think he's got levels to go up. We're not buying the finished article with Koundé. He's 22, so he's the same age as Twansebi. And people are like, "Oh, Sancho tore him apart." Well, you didn't watch the game, but he's the centre back that I want at Manchester United, and I hope Man United can deliver that deal. I really do. Do we really think we will get a centre back? This is Glazers United. Ollie will probably get another backup keeper and another left back. Obviously not needed, says James McIntyre. Well, look, yeah, we're going to be in the hands of the board. Of course we are. I can't give you any encouragement or positivity around that. We, unfortunately, as a football club, know very, very well that we are in the hands of incompetence at times. We did get Bruno Mars. Please wish what you want, says yeah, but we didn't get him till about 6 months afterwards. Sancho is still causing me pain, says Vintage United. You know, Sancho's having a great season for Dortmund again as well. Everyone said he had a bad start to the season. He's actually doing really, really well. Bay's class, says Soccer. Yeah, but Bay's not reliable. You know, I said after his last injury, I've got no faith in Eric Bay anymore. He's a good player, but you can't rely on him. You know, you just can't. You can't rely on Eric Bay. It's sad, but you just can't. Koulubaly for 4 years, says Face and LMS. And United stand I don't know what that said. Bay's underrated, says Azza. Bay's not underrated, he's just always injured. That's the problem with Eric Bay. Ronaldo for Pogba, Ramos on a free, Badiashile for 25 million and Lindelof plus cash for Basuma. But our board is incompetent. Why would Lindelof want to go and play for Brighton though, M-Hack? You've got to get real. United Chakras says, Mark, Koulibaly is right up there with Ramos and Van Dijk. Strong, fast leader and the right kind of personality who can organise our defence. I do like Koulibaly from a leadership point of view as well. But you know what? It's stories like this that cause you harm because you start to think, you know what, I'll take that deal. We do need more leadership at the back. I think United are crying out for a leader at the back. I don't think Koundé will give us a leader at the back. Koulibaly would. So, you know, if we finish second, it's progress and it's on the board to back Ollie, says Philip Burtonwood. And that's what I want to get out of it. I mean, can I just say what a great day? I mean, it's not just because I've had a glass of wine and it's Saturday night, but what a great day for Manchester United without playing. I used to love these days 20 years ago when we used to regularly challenge for titles. And I'm sorry to the younger crowd because you haven't had what I and many others had. I used to get so pumped up about days like this when United were playing on Sunday and your rivals were playing on a Saturday and you'd be watching the scores and seeing what's going to happen. And, you know, reality is today, I thought Chelsea would beat Southampton and Liverpool would beat Everton. That would put Liverpool 3 points behind us and Chelsea 2 points behind us and a bit of pressure on us tomorrow. And we have got pressure on us tomorrow anyway. Chelsea have drawn 5 points behind us. Liverpool have lost, still 6 points behind us. Win tomorrow, 9 points ahead of Liverpool. And quick maths, I can't even figure it out. 6 points ahead of Chelsea. No. Got that wrong. We were 4 points ahead of Chelsea today. So yeah, 6 points ahead of Chelsea, you're right. So 6 points ahead of Chelsea, 9 points ahead of Liverpool if we win tomorrow night. Bada bing, bada boom. That's a big gap again. And for me, it's about getting second place this season. That's what we're not going to win the league, so second place would be brilliant. But top four, I think after West Brom, we were worrying about top four. So such a big game for United tomorrow. And let's not forget, there's more results that could go our way. I fancy Villa to get something against Leicester. I think Spurs and West Ham could be a draw. So we win tomorrow, and it's a really good weekend for us. It's a really good few days for us. So got to win tomorrow. And positive results for us today. And, let's hope we can build on that. Talking of which, I saw Marcus Rashford's comments about Manchester United. He says there's definite progress from where we were. We're playing better football and there's more focus as we head in the right direction. There's more to do, but we're heading in the right direction. And I think that's interesting from Marcus Rashford because I think it almost covers him and Manchester United. Definitely improvement there. Definitely more consistent, but definitely more to do. But it's good that the players acknowledge that there is more to do and there is more hard work to do because I think they know that. And I think that, what Philip said there, he's absolutely spot on. If we can get top four this season and show progress on last year, whether it's position or points tally, then what you want next this summer window, which is why I was getting frustrated yesterday morning, is why are we planning on talking about transfers in a couple of months' time? Why are we not doing it now? Why are we not planning for now? We're Manchester United, and at the end of the day, if I'm buying a car, then I've got my number one choice, but then I've got number two choice, number three choice, number four choice. Why can't Manchester United sit down in February and say, if we get Champions League football, this is what we want. If we get Europa League football, this is what we want. Why can't you have plan A and plan B? Why are we not prepared? I feel that the team is progressing. I feel that the team is heading in the right direction, and I definitely agree there's a lot of work still to be done. But it doesn't matter how much work the players that we've currently got and Solskjaer and his coaches currently do. If they don't get the players in the summer, we won't make the progression we need. If we finish second this season, I still think there's a lot to do, but there's only one place to go, and that's first. We ain't got a squad to finish first. I don't care how more developed some of this first team becomes. They won't win the title. They're not a title winning team, so the board have got to get involved in there. What else did I want to talk about? Tell me something, girl. Are you tired of this modern world? Or do you need more? I don't know why I'm singing that. Ain't it hard living? It's so hardcore. I'm Falling. I don't know why I'm doing that. I feel a bit weird doing that now. But I quite like that song. I just saw a line in The Shallows and it made me think about that. We are in the shallows at the moment, Manchester United, and we do need to go into the deep end a little bit more. I feel we're a bit tentative as a football club. The security blanket of your towel and getting out of the water still seems to be there. We go a little bit deeper and then we come back. A little bit deeper and then we come back. We need to just get in that deep end and start swimming of our own free will. Tomorrow night's a big game. Chelsea after that and Man City. I think these 3 Premier League games could be huge. I know there's still about 14 games to go, but I think these next 3 Premier League games are really defining. Newcastle is a game we should win, but we know we could draw or lose. Chelsea is a game that if we can get a result out of that, we've basically probably finished Chelsea off. If we win tomorrow, we're 6 points ahead of Chelsea. If we don't get beat by Chelsea, we're still 6 points up ahead of them. If we beat them, we're 9 points ahead of them. That's big. And then you go to Man City straight after that and you're like, whew. But the interesting thing is, Liverpool and Chelsea are playing each other very soon as well. So big 3 games for Manchester United. It's about not opening the door to the chasing pack, and that's what tomorrow gives us the opportunity. We sell Pogba, Lingard and Dalot, we could get 80 million. We buy Sancho, Rice, Koulibaly or Koundé and our net spend is 100 million. This news has made me positive, says United Chokras. Any players we get need to be Ollie's signings or we won't play them. He has proved that. Loads to play for still. Ollie will get top 4 and a new contract, says James McIntyre. Positivity is nice to see. I'm on the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never reach the ground. Thanks, Frank Carville. What else did I want to talk about? There was something I really wanted to talk about. Get your questions in, but there was something I really wanted to talk about and I can't see what it was. It's really annoying me. I can't remember what it was. It'll come back to me. Dortmund are crying out for us to get the Sancho deal done now, and we're just sitting saying no, says Vintage United. Well, I don't necessarily know that the Sancho deal is the right deal for Manchester United to do. I keep saying this to myself and to you. If you've got £80 million to spend this transfer window and you spend it all on Sancho, where are you getting a centre-back from? Where are you getting a CDM from? And I am scared of what United are going to do around Sancho because I think they're so... I called it a dick measuring competition, which is a bit crude, but I do feel that this is almost about... It's not about what's best for the team anymore. It's about one-upmanship. Last summer, Dortmund made us look stupid. Solskjaer thought he was getting Sancho. Sancho thought he was coming to United. United didn't get Sancho. And I think United are like... It feels to me, and I might be wrong, and hopefully I am, but it feels to me like United are waiting to take Sancho this summer. So ultimately they can say, you might have won the battle, but we won the war. But the reality is, it worries me. I don't mind getting Sancho. He's a very, very good player. But it worries me that if you get Sancho, can you really get a centre-back? Can you really get a CDM? And the priority positions for United that are absolutely obvious, and Solskjaer should know this, is that if we want to improve and go to the next level, you need a centre-back and a CDM. Because the biggest issues Manchester United have is not scoring goals. The biggest issues we have are in the big games, the Chelseas, the Liverpools, the Manchester Cities, these boring games where we have 0-0s because we create nothing. And Bruno has a bad game and Cavani has a bad game because we get no ball to them. And the reason we're struggling in those games is because we're putting McFred in front of Maguire and Lindelof and playing negative football because we're terrified of them getting exploited. If you bring a centre-back in, we'll play higher up the pitch. If you bring a centre defensive midfielder in, our other pivot player will play higher up the pitch and we'll become a better team for it. You buy Jadon Sancho and you don't get a centre-back and you don't get a CDM, we're still going to Anfield and the Etihad and Old Trafford against Man City next season and playing with McFred in front of McTominay and Lindelof. And it doesn't matter whether you've got Jadon Sancho on the wing or Lionel Messi on the wing, they ain't getting the ball. I feel that Jadon Sancho can come to United and is a good player, but it can't be the whole budget. It can't be the big signing of the summer because it's just a status signing then. It's just a Galactico signing then. Anybody who watches Man United knows their biggest problem they've got is that you can play Bailly and we look good, or you can play Lindelof and we don't look good. And that's because when we play Lindelof, we play defensive and deep and protective. And when we play Bailly, we play a higher line and move further forward. And I think that the centre-back is the priority. I feel the CDM is needed. Will we get those positions if we go for Sancho? I don't see where the money will come from. You've got to look at United in recent transfer windows. We don't spend more than 60, 70 million pounds net. Well, Sancho's going to cost you 80 million. So where are you going to make the money up to buy a centre-back as well? We need 3 positions filled. Get a cheap winger, says Devils. I mean, I do wish we'd got Sancho last summer, because then this summer it would be about CDM and a centre-back. We need a director of football, says Darrow. We do. I would worry about signing Sancho, as he is only a couple of years older than Diallo, and I don't see where he'd get game time and we would stall his career, says Jack. Well, yeah, you can't spend £35 million on Diallo, then spend £80 million on Sancho when you've got Rashford, Greenwood and everybody else. It's like, what's the point in having Diallo? Palestri's on loan as well. Yeah, I would wonder about that. I think you make a good point. CDM and centre-back have got to be a priority, says Kavisha. What kind of CDM do you think we should sign? Would Rice make such a difference alongside McTominay or Fred still? Well, Rice is a proper CDM for a start, LW21. Right, Fred and McTominay aren't CDMs. So you put Declan Rice next to McTominay, you've got a different way of playing straight away. United stand picks is out tomorrow, Lee. I've just not dropped the link in the video description, but I'll put it on the watch. I'll put it on the morning show and on the watch along for you tomorrow. So yeah, you can play that £1,000 cash pot for Newcastle. Remember, it's a 7 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night. Alfie Shank says Liverpool lost. Mark, thoughts? I think it's a positive for us in the race for top 4, because I think Liverpool and Chelsea are the threats. But the reason I don't over celebrate Liverpool losing, I find it funny, but the reason I don't over celebrate it is because when they get Van Dijk and Matip and Gomez back, and they can put Henderson back in the midfield and Fabinho back in the midfield, they're going to be a really good team again. What are we going to do? We won't, we're celebrating Liverpool lose because we're shit ourselves, basically. And I'm not saying we're really shit. We're not really shit at all. But Liverpool will get those players back without signing anybody, and they'll become a title contender again. And they'll go past us, and we'll wave at them as they go past. So that's what I'm on about. When we're celebrating Liverpool losing tonight, of course it's funny because they're our rival, but they just need injured players to come back, and they're going to wave at us in their wing mirror. What are we going to do? We need to buy players to compete with Liverpool. We haven't got the players. They have got the players, they're just injured. We haven't got them. So that's what I think about Liverpool, is that it'd be very good if they didn't qualify for the Champions League, and it'd be funny, but they're going to come back. They're going to come back without signing anybody. They've got the players. They've just got a massive injury crisis. Next season, Liverpool are finishing above us unless we have a really good summer transfer window. The only way Solskjaer can finish above Liverpool next season is if he gets backed properly in the summer transfer window. So it's a short-term laugh at Liverpool moment, but longer term, I know exactly what's going to happen. They're just going to go back past us. And that's where we really should be focusing on. That's what we should really be talking about. There's not a changing of the guard here. This is not a turning point. This is not United back better than Liverpool because City are the best team in the country. This is a small win. It's a funny one, but it's a small win because Liverpool will be back. What are we going to do to stay ahead of Liverpool? And we've got a real opportunity this season to finish ahead of them now. Mark, hope Axel gets enough minutes in the Europa League so he can break up the fridge and freezer partnership this season, says SYP. Yeah, he's got to play on Thursday, Twansebi. A few people talking about the talks with Tognosi. This was a video last night on the United stand, so I can't really repeat it when it's already been spoken about. And there's a lot of people talking. We spoke about it last night. I mean, if you don't watch the show every night, I can't help you. But no, seriously, I do like the look of Tognosi. He's chief scout at Juventus. Apparently, United are looking at him as the director of football. I really like the sound of him. He's played. He's been around in Russia, in Germany, in Italy. He's very methodical. He's exactly the sort of profile that we need. I just don't believe United are looking at a director of football. I really don't. So, I don't get excited about it. I'm really impressed by Godfrey and Holgate. Very good players, says Sharath Kamath Fitness. I'll tell you what, if Everton spend again in the summer, I think they're going to be a good team next year. I think Everton have done really well to maintain where they are in the league. And the problem with Everton at the moment is they've got good players, but they haven't got good depth. So when Allen's out and Rodriguez is out and Mina's out and Calvert-Lewin's out, they become a bit of an ordinary team. If they buy 3 or 4 players like they bought last summer, they're going to be a good team next year, and they've got the money to do it, and they've got some good young players coming through as well. They're building something, Everton. Would you take Idris Gueye at United, says Ewan? He's a bit old now, to be honest. He's good. He was very good when he was at Everton, but I think he's a bit old now. Can I just say as well, loads of people have been saying recently that they're not getting notifications when we go live. I've not been getting them either on my phone, and it's weird because I normally do get them. So the way to get notifications is if you go to the subscribe button, there's a bell. If you click the bell, it will have tick to get all notifications from this channel. So that's how you do it, but really. And just make sure you've got it ticked, because a lot of people are saying this at the moment, and it's weird because it's happened with me as well. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and then tick to get all notifications when we upload, and you should get your notifications then. Some people are still getting them, obviously, but a lot of people have been saying that they're not, and I haven't been getting them either. It says and I get them on my iPad, but not on my phone. Ndidi for 40 million, says Ishak. I would love Ndidi for 40 million, of course I would, but let's be honest. Leicester sold us Harry Maguire for 80 million. They'd probably want 400 million for him. Landon says, if you were allowed to sign any single American player, is there any that you would take? I'm not brilliant on American players, you know. But I do like Pulisic, even though he's very injury prone. I think United should have gone for Pulisic from Dortmund anyway. I think it would have been a very good signing. But then again, he is a bit injury prone. He is. When I press the notifications button, it won't turn on and it says invalid arguments, says Calvin. I do. That's weird. That is weird. The thumbnail is correct. Definitely. Hi, Mark. How do you think we can get Greenwood back scoring again, says Leo Mejia? And how about Tanguy Kusi from Bayern as a TDM? He's fast, has got loads of potential, and he can double up as a centre-back, says Steak Negs. Just going back to about the Greenwood argument, I think Mason Greenwood's doing absolutely fine at Manchester United. I don't see a problem with him. He's playing off the wing. You give him chances, he'll score goals. I think it's as simple as that with Mason Greenwood. So I'm not massively concerned with what's going on with Greenwood. I think he's doing a good job, and I think in recent weeks he's probably been one of our better players. So I'm quite happy with Mason Greenwood. I'm confused. Liverpool play exactly like they played without Van Dijk. Is Klopp that good, or are Van Dijk that good? Same for us. Is team developing, or is Bruno that good? Says Jason Walters. And thank you for the contribution, Isaac. And Sharath Math Fitness, with the competition for top four and the gap between teams getting closer, we'll have to play 20 million extra to get a player from top four rivals. Yeah, we will. And look, this isn't a Liverpool football channel, but I'll tell you the problem with Liverpool, right? They lose their centre-backs. They have to start putting their midfielders at centre-back. So not only is their centre-backs not playing a higher line, pushing their full-backs forward, but their midfield is also not pressing as much, which is not pressing the ball forward, which is not pressuring the opposition. If you watch Liverpool at the moment, their transition from back to front is probably like United's. It's really slow. That's not Liverpool. So Liverpool have lost a lot this season. They can't play their best midfield. They can't play their best centre-backs. They're not allowing their fullbacks to get as far forward as they used to, and their front three aren't getting the ball as quick as they used to. Hence, they're not scoring many goals, but then they're still conceding goals. You know what? I think Van der Beek at Liverpool would be brilliant for them, and I think Thiago at United would be good for us. I think Thiago suits our style of play, and I think Van der Beek suits their style of play. Van der Beek's a quick player. He wants to move the ball quickly. He wants to pass and move. Thiago is a slower player who wants to dictate play slower. I think Thiago at United, if we did a swap right now, Van der Beek for Thiago, I think Van der Beek would be a revelation at Liverpool, and I think Thiago would be brilliant in the pivot for us. But, you know, I don't think Thiago suits Liverpool, and I don't think Ollie knows how to get the best out of Van der Beek at the moment. What are the chances of Greenwood getting in the Euros squad, says Yuvraj? I mean, I'm not, you know what? I've got to be honest. If our players get in the Euros squad this summer, well done. But the amount of football they've had to play over the last year, considering last season's lockdown ended in June. When we hit the start of June, our players have played a whole season, Euros, and the end of another season. I mean, if any of our players can get a summer off, I bloody hope they do. So if Greenwood doesn't go to the Euros, I don't care, because he gets the summer off. But look, if Mason wants to go to the Euros, I hope he gets there. And if Luke Shaw wants to go to the Euros, I hope he gets there. But if some of our players don't go, I don't think it'll be a bad thing. Because I think footballers at the moment are going to be struggling with this for a while because they're just not getting any break. They're being run into the ground, and this is why there's so many injuries. So, on a personal note for our English players, I hope they do get in the squad, but I wouldn't be bothered if they didn't from a Man United point of view, because some of them just need a break. They really do. Anyway, look, only a quick show tonight. Wanted to do something, and we did it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We're going to be back tomorrow about 10 o'clock with the morning show, and then tomorrow night we've got the watch-along, which I'm very excited about. It really is exciting tomorrow because it's a must-win game, and if we win it, we put a real strong grip on top four again, which was loosening a bit. And then with Sociedad on Thursday with the 4-0 lead, we can rest some players going into a massive game against Chelsea next week. So it's exciting times. Bradley says, I think the thing I loved the most about United's win against Sociedad was that we was almost playing with no out-and-out striker. Rotation was good. I heard a few things about the Dan James goal, and people were saying he was trying to cross it. I mean, so what? He scored a goal. Give him a bit of credit. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have a good evening, Saturday night and all that. I'll see you in the morning and tomorrow for the watch along. Stay safe, stay well, and thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you in a bit.